Just a quick question. Has Google existence changed humanities? Baker observes that the internet is part of our life because we use it for our daily activities. We cannot isolate ourselves from the use of the internet, just as Richin rightly stated, that we have entered into the digital age and the digital age has entered us. Internet is a new platform, and it can be seen as an open and free publishing. And when we want to search about something on the internet, we use search engines. But since search engines do not differentiate edited items from unedited ones, so why do internet users still rely on search engine? As for search engine, Google is on top of everyone. People will understand when you say, "Let me Google it for you." It means they will search things you have been questioning about using the search engine. And did you know they even become a verb? Do you still remember times before Google when we, humans, relied on one another to recall the details of our daily life? We used to rely on books or asking people for meaning and explanation of words and concepts. But now, we have become rely on the cloud. Almost all information are available for us, and this massive search engine called Google already taking place not just of other people as external sources of memory, but also our own cognitive faculties. However, our confidence in the knowledge of our fellow human beings and printed materials is shifting towards Google. So, is Google God?
Let's take a look at the history of how Google works. It is founded in 1998 by Larry Page and Sergey Brin. The name Google was derived from a mathematical term Google, which means a 1 followed by 100 zeros. According to Brabazon, the purpose was to fathom backlinking by devising a means to count the number of backlinks on the World Wide Web. The study developed PageRank as the algorithm that recognized and measured the number of links into these other sites. They came up with the idea to check how often web pages have been viewed and list them in that order. So, the site gathers information into its databases through users' personal information gotten by the Googlebot web crawler, Google Analytics, third-party databases, and AdSense. Baker explains that after Google receives a collection of keyword matches, it processes the result by ranking the page using its content, then determine the relevance of the content and display the result in an order by arranging them with the aid of PageRank. The quality of results Google produces is dependent on the depth of information supplied as keyword by a user. So, is it relevant?
Describing the design of Google as a big idea, Lancaster noted that Google was based on one of the most widely mocked areas in academia, that of bibliometrics, assessing the importance of any given article or piece of information purely by measuring how often other people in the field mentioning it.
However, Baker opened that Google is not all about searches but also dedicated to problem solving. It is true that Google has advanced her future from online search to the provision of other services, which is attracting students, lecturers, consumers, corporate bodies, and individuals who use the internet. Davis described Google as a broad traffic site for its power of attraction, the search engine, products, and services. One will wonder what is behind this attraction that now makes Google to look like a god.
So how to understand the relationship between Google, God, and power? The Longman Dictionary defines a god as a being who is worshipped, especially for having made or for ruling over the world or a part of the world. For a god to be worshipped means it is ruling over a domain, and to be ruling entails the possession of power demonstrated in the ability to control others. Analyzing the definition within the Google website is to understand Foucault's theory of power. Foucault observed that there is power, and such power comes with some measures of control. Logging into Google site, one will not notice Google's power, but the statistic of those who visit the site reveals its power. In addition, the speed in which Google finds and lists items to a search query shows how powerful it is. Moreover, the trust response on Google makes it difficult for most users to turn down results from a search keyword. Google's power, according to Conti, can also be measured in the wealth of users' information on its database. The others compares Google's resources and the power it commands to that of a sovereign nation.
Besides its unique users, Google's resources is visible in the numbers of visitors to the site who search for items or do online business. The company's revenue, which more than some nation's financial reserve, and her intellectual resource, which is about 600 PhD holders. Foucault also observed that where there is a power and control, there is equal resistance. During our orientation program, the head of the department warned us against using Wikipedia, a popular website, to Google search result. We think that the resistance to Wikipedia as no reference material is not peculiar to Coventry University, but also other institutions of higher learning. Interestingly, even the founder of Wikipedia, in response to students' complaints of low grade arising from the use of Wikipedia articles, appealed to them not to cite the encyclopedia in their academic work. Google Plus frames others as individuals displaying themselves to a universal community, but examining the manner in which users explore Google shows how individuals arrange themselves and their community. It is a pattern. However, it has been observed that most times feedback exists without any response from those communicated to. For instance, one may be expecting a commendation by mail from a blog, but if such commendation does not come, it raises concern from the blogger to examine the content of the blog.
So it can be presumed that social networking sites are technologies of both the self and the community, said by John Wilson and Sons. This new platform enables us to create a relationship with those that will view the post. According to Seitel, emphasizes a two-way balanced communication process. Baker agrees with this view. The digital culture in Googling. Today, to say Google in the words of Baker is to mean searching for information online. The Oxford Dictionary in 2006 featured Google not just as a name but as a verb meaning to search online. Barron stresses that to Google is a search attitude associated with students, commenting that a number of students do not understand how Google ranks results. This digital culture can be compared to the fast food system, which Brabazon described as a type in, download, cut, paste, submit educational culture. Her explanation to the digital culture affecting literacy on the premise that just reading text on a screen does not necessarily produce knowledge, but reading print on paper is one goal of education.
Companies are distinguished by their names and slogan. For Google, its motto, "Don't be evil," which highlights the company's ethical values and its mission statement to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. The only way to have our personal information secure is not to fall to the temptation of using Google's free services. To heed this advice is almost impossible because one cannot be isolated from relatives, friends, and loved ones, which the online platforms offer free of charge. The internet is used to gather data, not necessarily building of knowledge with a way to think critically. Internet-mediated communication looks like online education system. Denton notes that Google Docs, which he described as cloud computing technologies, can improve instructional methods. Although Google through its services is integrating an online information system into our social lives, can it solve our educational problems? In answering this question, Brabazon observed that it will be an assumption to think that educational problems can be solved through technology. Relying so much on technology affects critical learning when we're supposed to be focusing on improving our curriculum and methods of teaching.
It takes power to ascend to a throne and wisdom to remain on the throne. Conti observes that Google is currently king in the internet world, but acknowledged that there are other online companies contending for the position. For example, Microsoft is negotiating to buy Yahoo while Japanese government is designing a search engine that will compete with Google. This upcoming rivals is putting Google on its toes and making it more creative and innovative.
According to Chris Urmson, the director of Google's self-driving car project, Google intends to collaborate with the auto industry to achieve this dream. Maybe the project targets the physically challenged. As Urmson notes, we believe this could significantly improve road safety and help people who are blind, disabled, or otherwise can't drive.
Google is a company, and Conti notes that companies have their lifespan and do not exist forever. The question then is, if Google passes on someday, what happened to the billions of users' personal information and other materials on its databases? Will the information be inherited by a trusted company or a cybercrime gang? We think this is food for thought for users to reflect on what becomes of their personal information they have willingly supplied to Google. So, is Google God? Because God can die.